Welcome and good evening. My name is Catherine Murphy, and I'm sitting in as moderator tonight for Laura Milner, who's the Voter Services Chair for the Kittitas County League of Women Voters. It is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the League, as well as the Ellensburg Daily Record and the Northern Kittitas County Tribune, to the Kittitas Valley Allensburg City Council seat number 2 candidates night. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the League's production and post-production crew of Charlie Sorensen, Karen Raymond, and Dolores Irwin for making this event possible. The Kittitas County League, which is nonprofit, has been in existence for over 50 years and has presented candidates nights to help educate county voters since 1980. As a nonpartisan grassroots organization that never supports or opposes candidates or political parties, our goal in hosting these events is to educate voters about candidates and their positions as they stand for election, because informed voters do make a difference. The League of Women Voters records and retains a full, unedited copy of all candidate forums. If any portion of a League forum is redistributed out of context to make a candidate appear to say something they did not say, or edited to make a candidate look bad, or in any way they did not actually look at the original forum, then the League of Women Voters will alert the media, provide the unedited video for comparison, and file appropriate complaints with any applicable governing agency. For reasons of nonpartisanship, leagues do not hold what are called empty chair forums. However, in the rare event when a candidate who agreed to attend has a sudden emergency precluding their attendance, we offer to read a one-page statement on their behalf and proceed with the forum. Please know that candidates running for Ellensburg City Council positions 1 and 3 were also invited to tonight's event. Nancy Loquist and Adam Wynn agreed to participate. Unfortunately, their opponents, Kip Story and Barbara Del Mar Robles, did not respond. We are very pleased to have Nancy Goodlow and Joshua Thompson here for tonight's event for Ellensburg City Council seat number 2. As we begin, I want to note that our ballots will be mailed on October 12th. Please call the auditor's office if you don't receive yours in a timely manner after that date. You still have time to register or change your address. You can do so online through October 25th and in person at the auditor's office by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 2nd. Your ballot must be postmarked on or before November 2nd by 8 p.m. Please know that local post offices close at different times, so mailing by October 26th is probably your best bet. There are also 9 ballot drop boxes throughout Kittitas County. If you're not sure where yours is, check with the auditor's office website for the complete list. In addition to this live stream event, the recording will be on the Kittitas League YouTube channel with links found at kittitasleague.org. We thank the following media partners for sharing these forums: Ellensburg Daily Record and the Northern Kittitas County Tribune. We have discussed the ground rules for the forum with the candidates prior to today's event. My job is to keep us on time and on task, which means that if a candidate goes past their time, I will move us along. The candidates have the opportunity to make a 2-minute opening statement. Then we will ask 6 prepared questions that we sourced from the community. We provided these questions to the candidates a few hours ago, and they'll have 60 to 90 seconds to answer them, depending on how complex the question is. Then we will move to up to 3 audience questions, depending on the time availability. The candidates will have 90 seconds to respond to each of these questions. The forum will conclude with a 60-second closing statement by each candidate. Should an opponent wish to rebut the response, they must signal they wish to do so. Once I recognize them, they will have 30 seconds. Only 1 rebuttal per question will be permitted. We will rotate the order that the questions are asked, so no one candidate must always answer first. And if I happen to mess that up, would one of you tell me? If you are viewing this live, you can submit a question by texting to 509-654-9030. The questions must be for both candidates. League members will review the questions, We may combine or edit them for clarity, nonpartisanship, and time limitations. Our general voters guide will go live on our website, kittitasleague.org, by October 12th. The guide includes links to candidates' campaign websites, if provided, financial filings, completed Candidates League of Women Voters questionnaires, and more. We urge you to check it out and share it with other voters. Now, I'd like to again welcome Joshua Thompson and Nancy Goodlow to this forum. Thank you both for taking the time to be with us, and thank you for your willingness to serve our community as Ellensburg City Council members. We're going to start with opening statements. Mr. Thompson, we're going to start with you. You have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Great. Thank you so much. I first would like to thank the League of Women Voters, the Daily Record, and the Northern Kittitas County Tribune for hosting this forum so our community can be better informed. My name is Joshua Thompson. Now more than ever, we need city council members with the heart of a servant who will put the community first. I am that candidate. Over the last 6 months, I have connected with thousands of neighbors on our doorsteps, business owners in their shops, and attended numerous events around the city to understand our priorities and our concerns. From these conversations, I've heard a desire for improving public safety, increasing transparency, and promoting entrepreneurship and job creation. These are the exact reasons that I have entered this race. Allensburg is a wonderful city with so much to be proud of. It's why my wife, Inez, and I decided to raise our family here. But we also face a lot of challenges as we continue to grow. I have spent my career helping large corporations solve complex problems with innovative solutions, and I want to bring that skill set to City Hall. I will fight for our shared values, supporting first responders and enhancing public safety, especially pedestrian safety, promoting economic development, entrepreneurship, and job growth, increasing our housing stock with an emphasis on attainable housing and improving government transparency and accessibility. I look forward to discussing these and other issues in more detail this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Goodlow, you have 2 minutes to make your opening statement.
Thank you. I also would like to thank the League of Women Voters and the Ellensburg Daily Record and the Northern Kittitas County Tribune for sponsoring this and for all the help that you have to make this debate go smooth to the end. I am Nancy Goodlow, and I am asking for your vote to retain Ellensburg City Council Position 2. I want to serve another 4-year term. I believe the city of Ellensburg is sitting on the cusp of really, really good things that are going to happen to it in the future. And as part of the city council, I have been able to be a part of the groundwork that's been laid for these things to happen. I want to produce a thriving, dynamic, and economically strong small city over the next decade. Ellensburg is my home. I've lived here for 21 years. You will agree that this community has changed a lot in those last 20 years. This community handled that change and continued to be the great place to live that exists today. I want to return to City Council to help pave the way for a strong local economy driven by planned yet responsive system for economic development, a city where living wage jobs dominate the employment opportunities we have, and a city where housing is affordable and plentiful. And I will look forward to talking with Josh tonight about those issues. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to question 1. As we know, Central Washington University and its stakeholders comprise roughly 50% of the City of Ellensburg population. Focusing only on the students, what they contribute to the town for housing, food, transportation, and entertainment, both on and off campus, are a great economic impact. What are some ideas that you have to increase student appreciation of sense of place and perhaps remain after graduation? Ms. Goodloe, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I'm glad you recognize and others recognize that CW is as important in our community as they are, and the students are extremely important, particularly for the economic impact that they have and the energy that they bring to the things that they do. As part of the comprehensive plan amendment chapter for the DEI Commission, we are focused on developing a strong communication plan with Central so that those students will know what's going on in this community and will know where they need to go and what time and the information. When we did the listening tours last year, we heard from students that they want to be involved and they want to know what's going on. So this is one of our things that we're going to be working on as part of the DEI commission work that we're doing. I think other things that we will do or that we can do is create events where students can be involved, where they are part of what's going on. And we have a number of ideas that we're talking about for the DEI work that we're doing that will help students do that. I think our businesses can make have a more welcoming atmosphere in their place.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't see the timer. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm going to
Okay.
read the question. I'm going to read the question again for Mr. Thompson. As we know, Central Washington and its stakeholders comprise roughly 50% of the City of Ellensburg population. Focusing only on the students, what they contribute to the town for housing, food, transportation, and entertainment, both on and off campus, are a great economic impact. What are some of the ideas that you have to increase student appreciation of sense of place and perhaps remain after graduation? And you have 90 seconds, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. Central Washington University, its stakeholders, staff, and students have a tremendous impact on our local economy and culture. Every day I see tokens of appreciation in our city for CWU students, whether it's discounts for students at retail establishments, people wearing Wildcat gear, or other visual messages of support. Many businesses rely on students for workers and customers. It's hard to walk down Main Street without seeing a Wildcat logo on a hat, hoodie, or window, whether students are in town or not. I believe all of these things help students see that we are proud to be the home of CWU. What I do think this community needs is economic growth paired with growth in our housing stock. Without housing or good paying jobs, it makes it difficult to retain graduates, possibly carrying student loans to stay here. I see the focus on making sure Allensburg is a place that businesses want to expand or to relocate to so that they are the jobs of the future for the students that we want to retain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nancy, I want to remind you to stay to the center so that we can see you. And the last question you were, there we go. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move on to question 2. How would you describe the economy of Ellensburg, and what would you advocate to increase the vitality of the Ellensburg economy? Mr. Thompson, we start with you, and you have 60 seconds.
I'd say the economy of Ellensburg is diverse. We have a major university in CW. We have some of the largest exporters of Timothy Hay and Anderson Hay in Ward Row, and we're home to growing breweries like Iron Horse and Whipsaw. We've got some amazing success stories on which we can continue to support. But as a community, we should spend our energy attracting the next great Allensburg success story. Aside from housing, one area that we can definitely improve, really, is increasing the capacity and affordability of both residential and commercial internet service. Reliable, high-speed internet infrastructure is essential for the 21st century business to thrive. If we want those businesses to thrive here, we need to meet their needs. Thank you.
Thank you. The question again is, how would you describe the economy of Ellensburg, And what would you advocate to increase the vitality of the Ellensburg economy? Ms. Goodlow, you have 60 seconds to respond.
I think the economy of Ellensburg is in pretty good shape after having gone through a year of COVID. There are many things that need to happen. I would like to see us support our businesses that we have here to help them maintain and even grow their businesses. I would like to see us have living wage jobs in our downtown in stores, and some of the businesses are starting to do that, and that will be really good. That will help the vitality of our economy. I also support the expansion of our internet capacity in Ellensburg so that everybody who wants and needs a connection to the internet can have that. But it's also a huge need for businesses that we could attract. I support a coordinated effort towards economic development that would involve the city.
Thank you.
Okay. I can't see the timer, so.
You can't see the timer on your screen. Oh,
no.
Okay. Well, I will say thank you when you're there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Nodding is helpful, but it would kind of be
Okay.
nice to know how much time is left.
Okay.
It's okay.
What we're going to do now is we're going to go to question 3. And that is, Allensburg has a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. This is a 2-part question. How would you describe the progress of this initiative? And how would you define substantial progress for Ellensburg in being a welcoming town for all peoples? Ms. Goodlow, you start this round and you have 90 seconds. And at 15 seconds, I will put my hand up like this.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. Well, I can give you an update on where we are with the work of the DEI Commission. We have completed our work to develop a chapter for the comprehensive plan of the city that will go to the state and hopefully be back in front of council later this year for approval. And that sets the goals and the framework for the work that we're going to do. We've established some priorities and we're starting to develop our work plan. So we have reviewed some policy pieces for DEI inclusion. We are developing proclamations where appropriate for all the city council meetings. So we've done a lot in our 6 months, but we will be doing more. I would define substantial progress for Ellensburg to be a welcoming town when we see students staying after they graduate from Central to work here and raise their families here. When we see more students of color going to town and feeling comfortable going to town, those are two strong sides for me that Central is becoming more of a welcoming. That Ellensburg is becoming more welcoming.
Thank you. The question again is, Ellensburg has a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. This 2-part question starts with, how would you describe the progress of this initiative? And how would you define substantial progress for Ellensburg in being a welcoming town for all people? Mr. Thompson, you have 90 seconds.
Yeah. I would say that with such a new initiative, it's hard to truly benchmark what has happened so far. I think the goals are very admirable, goals that I support. In my career, I've been around a very diverse background in tech and have experienced experience that cultural and racial and gender diversity. And as a Christian, I look at individuals at the heart, and have always taken that to be kind of a core tenet of myself. And I think Ellensburg itself is a tremendously welcoming place. There's always opportunities to grow and to improve. And I think that there are a lot of goals with the DEI initiative that I completely agree with and support. One area that I would like to see expanded, though, and again, it's a new initiative, 6 months, I believe, is that outreach to groups of the community who feel left out when the message is inclusivity. And I think that's a communications thing. I think it's just expanding that outreach. And I would like to see where this initiative goes. And its overlying goal is something that I support.
Thank you. We're going to now move on to question 4. Ms. Goodlow, if it's possible to change the view to speaker view, you will be able to see the timer on your, if you have that on your computer. If not, I'll continue to put my finger up. Question 4 is, what is the most pressing fiscal issue confronting the City Council? Mr. Thompson, we begin with you, and you have 60 seconds to complete through.
Yeah, so I think the most pressing fiscal issue confronting the city is definitely infrastructure for a number of reasons. We've got a city that's projected to double, and that type of growth is costly, and we have to invest now in every way we can. One specific area, it's an area I mentioned before, but I believe in it that much, is really solidifying and growing our residential and business internet infrastructure. All of our businesses today are digital. There aren't businesses anymore that are not connected in some way. And if we want to have that growth driver, and we want to bring new businesses in, and when we want to see old businesses grow and flourish, giving them the ability to tap into that global market is important an item as you can get for a city and its growth.
Thank you. The question again is, what is the most pressing fiscal issue confronting the City Council? Ms. Goodlow, you have 60 seconds.
Great, thank you. I totally agree with Josh on the infrastructure. It's very, very important. It's also important to acknowledge the work of our staff and the amount of money that they bring in for our infrastructure projects from the state. It's millions of dollars every year. And the city supports that with a portion of the fees and services that are paid for the utility construction also. Sometimes the city has to use general fund money for that, but plans are in the works for that infrastructure, and we know what needs to happen, and I believe we'll be ready for that. I also agree on the internet, and I can tell you that right now, plans are in place for how we could expand that in the next year or so.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the next question. According to the State Clean Energy Transformation Act, municipalities must be 100% clean energy by 2030. At present, Ellensburg's vehicle fleet is almost entirely powered by gasoline. What plans should the council put in place to update its fleet and meet this 2030 deadline? Mr. Thompson, you begin, and you have 90 seconds.
Great. So the CETA is really just another unfunded mandate passed down by Olympia, and it's something that's going to be thrown on our back and to carry unless there's new money coming from somewhere. Couple that with trying to buy into emerging technologies and plan out 5 and 10 years on a technology that hasn't even been proven yet. It's going to take some careful thinking. This is an area that I have a lot of background in terms of evaluating and managing a growing tech. And what I would advise in this situation really is to save now. Know that our final solution from 5 years from now probably hasn't been invented yet. I think it would be wise to, during the replacement course of retiring city vehicles, to adopt the technology for a year or two to just examine it and look at it, not to make a final decision, but to help you make a better judgment in the future. And that would be my concern there with the 2030 goal. It's just how long is it going to take to get to where we want to be tech-wise, what that cost is going to be, and is it going to do what we need what we need it to do for the city?
Thank you. And this is actually question 6. Somehow I managed to skip question 5. So the question 6 is, according to the State Clean Energy Transformation Act, Municipalities must be 100% clean energy by 2030. At present, Ellensburg's vehicle fleet is almost entirely powered by gasoline. What plans should the council put in place to update its fleet and meet the 2030 deadline? And Ms. Goodloe, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Thank you. The council actually, through the Utility Advisory Council, is starting to talk with each other and look at outside sources to bring in to help us figure out exactly what Josh talked about. It's a very complicated issue, and just converting all of the city vehicles to green energy is not going to be enough to meet the 2030 mandates. It's important for people to understand that right now, 97% of our energy is clean and carbon free, what we get from Bonneville to power our city. We do have work to do. It's a multi-dimensional solution, and we are looking at all kinds of possible ways we can put together a plan that will be multi-dimensional that will get us to the CETA requirements. We're also confident that we can meet those requirements.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to question 5. Has Allensburg done enough to prepare its citizens for catastrophic wildfire? What do you think needs to be done? And Ms. Goodloe, we're going to start with you, and you have 60 seconds.
Okay. You know, the wildfire response would be handled through the county's emergency management plan, and Ellensburg is a part of that plan. You know, my suggestion would be for residents who live in areas that are surrounded by grass and a lot of trees, and they don't have a fire barrier around them, they think about that, the same things that you would recommend to somebody in the